Hello there. Well, will you look at that? Boris Johnson has put forward a new law to prevent the Brexit transition phase being extended beyond the 31st of December 2020. But there's a lot more to this than meets the eye. First, please give that YouTube algorithm a kickstart by giving this video a like. Now, the government published the new EU Withdrawal Agreement bill this afternoon, and not only does it aim to prevent the extension of the transition phase beyond the 31st of December 2020, it also removes the power of Parliament to dictate how the post-Brexit Day negotiations are conducted. And as far as I can see, it effectively rubs the noses of those who legislated against Brexit in the past in the mud. Now, to set the scene, the Withdrawal Agreement treaty between the EU and the UK says that there will be a joint committee made up of representatives of the UK and EU that can be ministers or high-level officials, and that they can agree to an extension to the transition phase if they want to, by using a special, laid-down written procedure. This written procedure is the vehicle by which binding decisions could be made. So what does the new EU Withdrawal Act bill say to counteract all of this? Well, the first thing it does is instruct that a Minister of the Crown may not agree in the Joint Committee to an extension of the implementation period. Simply put, Parliament will not allow the UK government to sign up to a transition period extension. More on that in a minute. But not just that, it also limits the people who can take part in the Joint Committee on the UK side to only be a minister. No civil servants are allowed. And further, the new Withdrawal Agreement Bill also makes it illegal under UK law for a Minister of the Crown to agree to use that special written procedure to agree to anything binding. Now, this means that the Joint Committee, the body that is in charge of running the whole withdrawal agreement, actually becomes a toothless, pointless body, as it can't make any binding decisions. The Joint Committee becomes at best a talking shop and at worst totally irrelevant. Now, I had previously thought that if the UK Parliament did this sort of thing, then it would mean that the UK government could not sign up to the withdrawal agreement, as UK law would be at odds with the international treaty it was planning to sign up to. The normal convention is that the government can only sign up to an internationally binding treaty once UK domestic law was fully in line with it. But this is where our peculiar unwritten constitution steps in. The UK government, as the executive, can sign up to and negotiate treaties and within treaties, so it can sign up to the Withdrawal Agreement Treaty. But Parliament, the legislature, can tie the hands of the government by legislation. Think the Ben Surrender Act, where Parliament instructed the government on exactly what to do. The Ben Surrender Act is the legal precedent here. Government may want to do one thing, but Parliament stops it. The government had the power to leave the EU without a deal on the 31st of October 2019, but Parliament stepped in to stop it via the Ben Surrender Act legislation. And now, in the case of the transition phase, the government has the power to extend it under the treaty, but Parliament will be stepping in to tie the hands of government and so prevent it. Oliver Letwin et al. Thought they were being extremely clever with their use of Brexit-blocking legislation, just like Gina Miller did with her successful legal case to force the government to get Parliament's permission to invoke Article 50 through legislation and not the royal prerogative. But now the Brexiteers can use the exact same concept to prevent any further unnecessary delay to Brexit. Parliament will be stepping in and legislating before the fact to tie the hands of government and so force it to deliver in accordance with the will of the people. But it's cleverer than that, oh yes. The EU will now be presented with an offer. Do they sign up to this withdrawal agreement treaty in the full knowledge of the UK legal position, in the full knowledge that the hands of the UK government are tied by Parliament? Or do they refuse to ratify it themselves? If they sign up to it after Parliament has legislated against an extension, then how can they later argue to try and force an extension? And if they sign up to the withdrawal agreement, they would surely be signing up to the acceptance that there will be no transition phase extension beyond the 31st of December 2020. And if they refuse to sign up to the withdrawal agreement on those terms, then it would mean a no-deal WTO Brexit on the 31st of January 2020. And there's more. Unlike the previous iteration, the new withdrawal agreement bill does not give Parliament any power to interfere with UK government negotiations on the Brexit deal. It also removes the requirement for Boris's government to report its progress back to Parliament. This new version of the EU withdrawal agreement bill seems to go a long way to putting the power of international treaty negotiations back within the purview of the UK government, as opposed to the previous arrangement of an unholy alliance between a rogue speaker and Remainer MPs. And if any litigious-minded anti-Brexiteers tried it on in court, the government could argue with authority that Parliament has been able to legislate to prevent the government leaving the EU without a deal, so it should, of course, be able to legislate to prevent a government extending the Brexit negotiations. I think that Boris may well have put the ball firmly back in the EU court, with a decision on whether they accept these new terms or accept a no-deal Brexit on the 31st of January 2020. Delicious! Anyway, what do you think? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. And thank you very much for watching.